Good win for our guys. Memphis, they were a team that's been playing real well. They understand what it is to go into buildings with a crowd and against a good team such as Oklahoma and be in it to the end. They've got a fifth-year senior point guard in Ricky Tarrant who's healthy. He's real good. Obviously, Shaq Goodwin is tough as nails, and and he's an older guy, and they got good players. It is what it is. It's our guys. We weren't great today, but we played real hard, and Memphis had a lot to do with our problems offensively. They're so long that they just bothered our passing, and then we had some shots that we've been making all year, and I think our guys just didn't finish and I'm talking about layups, just didn't finish layups. Chris has to learn how to finish, and then Mike and Mendogas and them, there's some shots that they've made for us in the past that we needed them to make today.
Frank, I think you guys probably prepared knowing that Memphis was going to try to get to the line since that's where they score a lot of their points. How did you try to coach or in practice leading up to this game by just saying be physical, stand your ground, or simply make your free throws?
Yeah, it's like if you step in the ring with Mike Tyson, you're going to get hit with a left hook. You just don't want to get hit with the left hook or multiple left hooks. It is what it is. That's what they do. They're going to come at you. They come at you in the open court. They come off at you against your zone and sets, and they just they're big, long, and athletic, and they just drive you and drive you and drive you. And then when you get into rotation mode, then they get on that offensive glass. I thought our defensive I didn't think our initial ball defense was as good as it needed to be. It was better than what it's been. What I thought we did great today was scramble behind the ball and protect the rim. And then coming down the stretch, I thought we did a great job of rebounding on the defensive side. Obviously we got 18 offensive rebounds, but I thought coming down the stretch, we really locked in and grabbed some defensive rebounds. We had breakdowns defensively in the last 4 minutes of the game, and I told the team afterwards that's unacceptable. You can't have that. But you know what? We just played a real good basketball team, and we didn't make shots today, but it didn't take away from our fight and our spirit, and we figured out a way to win.
You've repeatedly talked about this in the past, particularly like Ole Miss a couple years ago, with such atmosphere and taking advantage of the opportunity. How great was it to take seizure of that opportunity today?
Yeah, Brian, I just said this outside of my radio show. Our fans have been coming, but they just kind of been sitting there. Well, today we had a home court environment. I don't know how many people we had in there. I'd say it was probably around 14, but it was loud. And there was emotion in the building that came in from the stands. And it's the first time our guys play in front of a crowd here at home this year that has that emotion. I think that had something to do with us kind of being a little tight offensively. But it's great. We need to create that kind of an attitude from our crowd every time we take the court. I can't sit here and make people come. All I can do is make sure that our guys play hard, and our guys play hard. And I would hope our fans continue to respect that and they come out and support our guys.
Going down the stretch, it seemed like your players really started driving into the lane, taking advantage of their foul trouble. Is that something you told them or something they kind of took upon themselves?
Well, Limonis, coming down the stretch, I've been hard on him, again, for about going on 3 weeks now. And he picked up those 2 quick fouls today. And I felt bad for him because I really thought that he had prepared himself to play well today. And then to start the second half, I don't know if you guys are sitting there paying attention to like what guys are doing. A minute and a half into the second half, after playing 30 seconds in the first half, he was hyperventilating, couldn't breathe, had to come out of the game. And I said, how do you do that? You've played 2 total minutes. How can you not breathe? But then he settled down and he created a presence at the rim for us, especially on offense. I'm not a stats guy. I'm about if you're active or not. He shot free throws today. When was the last time he shot free throws in a game? That means he was active at the rim. He was playing strong, creating a presence. And we didn't turn the ball over. So it was a combination of those two things. Then when we took Limones out because of his fourth foul, I knew they were in deep foul trouble. So then instead of trying to ask Chris to catch the ball in the post and finish, which is not something he's great at right now, we decided to kind of open the court up to create driving lines. And our guys did that, and we scored and got fouled and made free throws.
You said on Thursday that this is the kind of game that prepares you for SEC play. Did you see out of your team what you wanted to in preparation for Tuesday night?
Yeah, if you can, when you play a top 20 kind of team, a team that rivals all the teams in your league, and you shoot 31% from the field and win, then that means your guys are not getting wrapped up in a good play or a bad play. For my first 2 years here, and probably the early part of conference play last year, these are the kind of games we'd always lose because we'd miss shots and we'd miss a layup. And then our guys would kind of drop their head for a second, and the other team would go on that 11-2 run, and it create the separation that we couldn't overcome in the last 3-4 minutes. Today, we never did that. We stayed the course, and then executed on offense, didn't turn it over, made free throws. We built the lead on free throws, and now this is one thing I'm not pleased about. We had some major defensive breakdowns in the last 3 minutes of the game. You can't have a 7-point lead and have those major defensive breakdowns we had. And those are things that when we go back and watch a film tomorrow, we won't be talking about those breakdowns because you can't be up 7 in a league game, which is what this is, and have defense. If you miss a shot, you miss a layup, you miss a free throw, it is what it is. But you can't have breakdowns. You can't have self-inflicted wounds. And today we did that, and we're lucky we survived.
As you build this thing and you move up nationally and you beat a blue blood program like Memphis, does it give you and the players the feeling that you do belong with where you are at this point in the polls and getting the attention you're starting to garner?
That's I don't want to say a two-headed monster, but that's where there's a difference in a separation in our locker room, and that's where I have to not get wrapped up in that separation. I've lived what you're talking about. The guys in our locker room have not. I can't get wrapped up in talking to them about things that they've never experienced before. Does that make sense what I'm saying, Phil? If I had one of my K-State teams that went to an Elite Eight or whatever, I can speak to them about, our guys can't get wrapped up in that. They've never lived that moment. We have to take on the experiences as they come. I got to keep my head in place with the understanding that as well as we've played, the fact that we're 13-0, is that what it is now? And people in the national markets are going to sit around and say, wow, those guys are for real. And all of a sudden, every comment is about that we got a chance to be good. I can't get wrapped up in that. I can't talk to our players about the good there because they don't understand it. I have to stay in the moment and stay wrapped up in the only thing that they understand right now, which is let's work as hard as we can tomorrow so we can be as prepared as we can for Auburn on Tuesday. Outside of that, I can't. They don't know what it is. They don't know it. They haven't lived it. Here's the thing that we're going to, and I said this to them for the first time going into the Memphis game. Now we're going to have to learn how to be the hunted instead of the hunter. Because now with national rankings and all that stuff that you're talking about, every team you play, beating you makes their season. Beating you puts them in the limelight. And we need to understand how to manage that. That's one thing I did speak to them about.
68 total fouls. Have you ever been a part of anything like that? And does that take away from the game at all? Obviously not the win, but does it take away from how the game's played?
Not at all. Not at all. It's both teams fouled. The officials, it's their job to call the fouls. It's our jobs to adjust. I didn't think either team really adjusted today, And the thing is that both teams were going at each other. There's no neither team is passive on how they play. And I told Pat Adams in the middle of the game, I said, Pat, you guys are working your tails off. This is a hard game to officiate. And it's their job to call the game, and that's what they did. They called the fouls that were there. They made the calls. As coaches, it's our job to talk to our players about the things we got to do better, like hand checking. They called every hand check in the game. And then late in the game, we're still hand checking. I'm like, what are you guys doing? You know, that it's our job to adjust to the officials. It's not their job to adjust to us. They called the game the way they saw it, and I thought it was consistent. And I don't think either team ever adjusted to the officials. There's too many people here today.